Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Raeann, but you can call me Ray. So this is another kind of unexpected video. Well, I expected it, but okay, so I just keep getting packages that say they're gonna come on a certain day, and then all of a sudden, like in the morning, it's like, oh hey, by the way, it's gonna be here today. So I have the two new Dose of Colors palettes today. They were actually supposed to get here on Saturday, but they're here now. So look at how cute these are. I already lost the boxes, like they're probably in the living room or something, because I took a bunch of different pictures of these two. If you like flat lays, by the way, follow me on Instagram. I know I'm doing this like 2 videos in a row, but seriously, I post a lot of flat lays on my Instagram, so if you appreciate those, follow me there. The link is down below. I really appreciate this like minimalistic packaging. It's just super nice, super clean. It is like their other 5 shadow palettes. The one thing that makes these 2 palettes different is they actually have shimmer shades in them, where their other 5 pan palettes are all just mattes. So they do have palettes that already have shimmers in them, but this style of palette, the one with the 5 shadows, their previous ones were only ever just mattes. But these ones have 3 mattes and then 2 shimmers. So this is the Smoky Soiree palette. Like, look at how clean this packaging looks. Like, and this just feels really soft too. Like, it's not velvet or anything. It's still like a hard case, but it just feels like really nice. So super clean packaging. I always appreciate packaging like this. This does come with a brush. I don't usually like when palettes come with brushes because I really don't need them, and most of the time they're not the greatest. These seems like that they might be okay. So it's dual ended. They both have a brush with this end and this end. I'll probably ever only really use this end, to be honest. Maybe I'll use this. I'm honestly not sure, but this side seems the most appealing to me, especially for like the under eye area. This is what the inside of the palette looks like. So we kind of have your like a nice like matte black shade to like a silver shade, and this is more of like a champagne shade. And then I actually thought this shade was going to be a red color, but it's more of like a red toned brown, like maybe like a mahogany or something. I think that might be a good description word for that, maybe not. And then this brown shade right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just swatch this one first, and then we'll go ahead and move into the Cutting Edge palette. So they did release 2. So they have the Smoky Soiree and then Cutting Edge, which is the more green toned palette. I did buy both, and we are going to be doing, oh, you know what, I really can't decide. I was going to do a look with each, but honestly, we'll see. I might combine it. So this is the first shade in the palette. Trying to get a better swatch out of that, but that kind of looks like the best we're gonna get into this shimmer shade. I like the feel of the like texture on their palettes. They kind of have that, they kind of have those like lines pressed in there. I don't know, it just feels satisfying for some reason. And then this is kind of like a gunmetal sort of. Okay, so this kind of looks like it has an iridescence to it. In the actual pan, it looked like it could have been like a more gunmetal shade, but definitely looks more of like an iridescent kind of brown color with a little bit of like kind of a silver tint to it. And then the last shade in the palette is going to be this matte black shade. Okay, so that swatched out pretty nicely for a matte black. It's always nice to have like a good solid matte black. This looks a little patchy, but hopefully it's something we could still work with. Some mattes just are patchy when they swatch out. So other than that, all of these swatched out really, really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the swatches with the other palette and just keep them all on this arm so you can kind of look at them together just for fun. So this is the Cutting Edge palette, so similar packaging, still super clean, and then of course it has the kind of mirrors the colors that are in the palette, so it's definitely a more olive toned palette. And I know you guys are probably already thinking, am I gonna swatch this and compare this to the Gemini palette and possibly other palettes that I own? And the answer is yes. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep it in this video or not, because my last video was very, very long, and I don't like my videos to be super long, like more than 30 minutes, because I personally don't have a long attention span, so we'll see. So let's go ahead and show you guys the inside of this palette. Super, super pretty. I personally just love like grungy, like green toned palettes, so of course this was the one that I knew I was going to buy. The Smoky Soiree palette, I was like, do I need it? But I really liked the collab with Dose of Colors and Desi and Katy. I really loved that palette. So I was like, you know what? I think I'll get both for review purposes, right? For you guys. I would wink, but it'd probably look weird. Alright, so this is the first shade in the Cutting Edge palette. This is our first shimmer shade. I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier. Ooh, this, like, well, all of these together just look stunning, but I really want to do a look with them together. Oh yeah, the swatches of this are definitely giving me Gemini vibes. But let's be real, any green toned palette automatically gonna give me like Gemini vibes. That's super, super pretty. And the last shade in this palette. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches. This is a tiny bit patchy, but other than that, like in this shade of course, these swatched out really, really nicely. Like, this would be a beautiful palette altogether. I kind of just wish it was all just one. Like, look how stunning that is all together. But of course, I mean, I do like that you have the option of buying them separately and that they are two separate palettes, but just saying, I would not have been mad if this was one palette. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this from my arm. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes and then kind of think of what I'm going to do. I really had this look in mind where I wanted to do a look using both palettes. What I might do, I did a poll on my Instagram and it was a resounding 100% for a look with each, so I was kind of just gonna do what I just did in my BH Cosmetics video where I did one palette on each eye. So I'm probably gonna end up doing that this time too. Alright, let me go ahead and prime my eyes. I'll be back. So my eyes are primed. Go ahead and get into this. I might try not to talk too much during me actually doing the look just because last video was just so long. So yeah, I'm just gonna point and just go and see where that takes us. Also not really feeling that great today, so I don't know if you guys could tell, but had a insane headache all day, so but I really wanted to get this video out. Ooh, okay, yeah, there is a decent amount of kickback, so just so you guys know. So we're gonna go in with that first matte shade, the more olive green color. I think I'm gonna try to do some sort of like winged out effect with a gradient. I'm gonna have this olive color go into that brown shade, and then the wing might just all be that darker shimmer shade. Not 100% sure though. Okay, so from there we're gonna go into this shade. I'm just gonna try to like wing that out a little bit and then also just start connecting it from the bottom. Probably deepen it up too, but we'll see how this ends up looking. Alright, so it's not perfect right now, but we're just gonna kind of roll with the way that it is right now, and then I'll fix it if I have to, which I probably will have to. Take glitter primer. So I'm just creating a good shape that would kind of be just a good shape for my eye and a wing. So kind of just following this in here. I just want the shimmer to be super just impactful, so I don't know how these shades are gonna do without a glitter primer, but I really always use my glitter primer no matter what. Even if a shimmer shade is absolutely stunning without it, always use the glitter primer, especially for a look like this. So I'm gonna take an angled brush and just try to refine the shape that I want. That way when I go to lay down the shimmer, hopefully it's pretty easy. Trying to figure out if I want to do all just the, if I want to do a gradient or if I want to do all just the darker shade. I think I'll do a gradient. So I'll start with this lighter shade and then like the more golden shade, and then we're gonna go in with this one for the end part. Ooh, that glitter primer gets so tacky so fast. And I am building up some of the shadow on my brush, but I am gonna just start with my finger first. Wow, this looks absolutely stunning. So I'm bringing that a little over halfway, and then since I don't have a super precise shape right now, I am gonna just take my brush and just try to get closest to the shade or the shape that I want. I might do a graphic liner look, probably with a black liner, if I have one. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm just feeling the graphic liner lately. Okay, so we're gonna go into this more olive shimmer. I'm just gonna lightly tap that towards the middle. So from there, I want to take another angled brush and just dip into that olive shade and get it closer to the shape that I want. Now, since I am probably doing liner, I can kind of depend on the liner to really give me the shape that I want. I definitely need to take a flat brush first. So just trying to extend this to the outer portion of my eye a little bit more. I don't know if I was super successful with the amount of glitter primer I use, because I'm having a tiny bit of an issue winging this out. But if I had the glitter primer in the exact area that I needed, it wouldn't be this difficult. This look is so fall right now. Like, oh my god, I love it. Lauren, I don't know why, like, if you're watching this video, Lauren, aka one of my best friends in the whole entire world, this would be kind of a fun look for your wedding. I mean, I don't know what kind of makeup you want us to wear, but like with the orange dress, I don't know. For some reason, the color scheme just reminded me of fall, and fall reminds me of Halloween, and also reminds me of the fact that you're getting married. Yes, I needed to say it that way. And I really hope that you see this, and then whenever you watch this, if it's like even a week from now, you're like, oh my god, and then you text me. I don't know, I love you. Okay, I'm done talking. Alright, so that fully the shape that I want? Not sure, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take this darker olivey shade, and let me find the right brush that I want for this. To be completely truthful, I don't know what kind of brush I want with this. It's like I was looking for something that I had no idea what I was looking for, because it's like I actually don't know what brush I want to use for this. I'm gonna use this smaller dome brush, even though this may not be the brush I really want. You know what? That's probably not the brush I want. Okay, I know exactly what brush I want, but it's gonna be a matter of actually being able to locate it. This is not the brush I want. Ooh, this one is. Haha, success. Okay, so dipping into that olive shade, and I'm just gonna deepen the outer portion of this. Honestly, I'm gonna follow it all the way into here. it's coming together. Okay, so I definitely need to go back into the other shades that I used previously to kind of bring them up further into my eye and kind of really blend this out. But I'll probably be doing that off camera. I'll probably come back for the under eye portion. So yeah, I'll be back. Okay, so this is basically the finished first look with the Cutting Edge palette. So not bad. I actually kind of like this. I feel like there's probably something else I can do to make it a little more dramatic, but I didn't do it. I don't know. But I really like the tones of this palette, so of course I'm kind of gonna like this look because I just love those grungy tones. Like, also, can it be fall yet? Just asking for a friend. I did use a couple different things that were outside of the palette, but I'm not gonna really talk about those too much. So I did use a lighter taupe shade to kind of help blend this out on the outer portion of the eye. So like in here and in here, just a tiny bit. Honestly, I just picked a random like Anastasia Beverly Hills palette and used a taupe shade out of those because they always have a taupe shade, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I used that to kind of help things blend out just a tiny bit. I also used this J Kissa, I don't even remember what this is called, but this little thing here, I used the gold side and kind of lined right in here. I wanted more definition than what it actually gave me, but I was thinking of doing a liner, and then, I don't know, I kind of actually just like the little bit of the glitter right there. I was thinking of doing the black liner all the way over, so I did do that little bit of black liner. I might fill that in. I haven't decided yet, but right now I'm just going to leave it where it is, because if you have a good shape of your liner, it's like a decent shape, just keep it and then go from there. So I'm not touching that for right now. My inner corner highlight is actually one of the Menagerie, God, I don't even remember what they're called. Trifoil? I think it's called a trifoil. Honestly, I don't remember. But I have the like more yellow shade, and honestly, I'm just keeping it in the packaging that it was mailed in because I rarely ever buy single shadows. So yeah, they're just not usually my jam. So I'm just keeping it in this little box for now until I start to buy more. But this is the basically finished look for the first palette. I also used the olive shade, this shade and this shade under my eye. So olive shade here, more orangey shade right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do a look with the other palette. I really like this look. So let's go ahead and go into the Smoky Soiree palette. Oof, okay, I don't really know what to do with this. I actually don't know if I'm gonna really try to make this similar or not. I haven't decided, just because they're not similar palettes. So kind of up in the air what I want to do with this. Yeah, it doesn't have a lighter shade, so I guess that's the only thing that's kind of about it, is you're really just doing a smoky, like a dark smoky look with this. So I mean, I think that was what the intention was anyways, but so this is definitely going to be a deeper look than the other one. I'm going to go ahead and kind of do the same effect. So this one into this one, probably deepened up by this. We're just going to go ahead and get into this. Not my ideal brush, but it's what I picked up. This shade is kind of clinging, and I even set my eye, so alright, honestly I'm just gonna kind of dust off the same brush and then go into the brown shade that I pointed to. Try to emulate the same sort of shape that I did on the other eye, just to keep them kind of cohesive. I'm really digging this kind of shape with my eyeshadow lately. Like, kind of addicted to it now. Okay, so my eyeshadow is kind of up a little bit further on this eye, but I don't know if I really want to take these shadows quite as far up just because they're so much darker. So I'm just gonna take that random taupe shade. This is from my Modern Renaissance palette, which, ooh, I feel like that is like way beyond expired. Oops. Okay, so random taupe shade and just blending this out. Also could probably just use a bronzer too if you wanted to. Technically, I guess you could kind of leave it where it was, but I just wanted to blend this out a little bit, like all the way over on the other side of the frame. My bad. This is roughly the same thing. So, okay, my glitter primer dried up on my hand, so I'm gonna take a little bit more, some fresh stuff, and I want to do with this. Okay, so gonna take my glitter primer. So trying to open things with like zero nails and very fragile nails at that, like what's left of my nails, super fragile, it's so hard. It's not easy. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing. So this shade and then this shade. They're definitely going to look pretty different, but also want them to have the same style to them. That way I don't look like completely bonkers, but regardless, still going to look a tiny bit bonkers. Just like mildly, you know? So I know most of you are probably like, that probably doesn't really matter. Like, you're probably not going anywhere. And you're right, I'm not really going anywhere, but I do live in an apartment and I have to walk my dog multiple times a day because we don't have like a full backyard or anything, just a small patio. And I will literally leave the house like with two-tone dyes, so and people will see me, and no fear there, like whatever. But just so you guys know, if you were thinking nobody was gonna see this other than me and my fiance, think again. So I don't know about any of you guys, but I often leave my apartment with just like running shorts, basically, like really short shorts and like short like workout shorts and a big baggy t-shirt, so essentially it looks like I'm not wearing pants. Been doing that a lot lately, especially since it's hot outside and I don't feel like changing before I go outside and actually put real shorts on, because essentially it's gonna look the same anyways. They're just a tiny bit less short. The way that people have been looking at me recently is priceless. This shade's really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the darker shimmer shade now. I feel like I look like a totally different person with neutral, like, smoky eyeshadow too. Like, who is this? So can you help me figure out what hair color I dye my hair next? I was gonna do a more, like, normie hair color, which I haven't done literally in, like, over 10 years, so. But then I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm just not sure. It might be against, like, my personality. I don't know if I could do that. So, yeah. For those of you who don't know, I literally had bright red hair color, like Little Mermaid hair, for, like, a million years before I dyed my hair purple. So, me thinking of dyeing my hair brown is, like, kind of unheard of. But I was going to do brown into, like, a light blonde, but it would take a couple sessions, or honestly, I don't know how many sessions, but it will take a while. So I wasn't sure if I should actually do that, or I've been getting kind of like cold feet doing that color. I'm like, I don't know, because I'm supposed to do it in a couple weeks. And one of the other options is just going to a different bright color. I really wanted to do teal, but it's just like, it'd be a lot of work with my hair color now, and it could be fairly damaging. So I don't want to do that. Even though I really want teal or like an emerald green. I want both of those at some point, but my other option, which wouldn't be quite as harsh on my hair, would be going to pink, which isn't actually something that I wanted to do, but I'm kind of tempted. Or I could just go with a lighter purple. Who knows? Okay, so this is pretty much it. Ugh, I need to build that up a little bit. It looks a little see-through. Okay, so I'm gonna do magic. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm going to finish up this side. Actually, hold that thought. I'm gonna finish up this side, then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. And yeah, I'll do everything off camera, but I'll tell you guys what I'm gonna do. Most likely I'm gonna mirror how this is done, so I'll probably do the shade that I used in here under here, or you know what I might do? I might just take like the taupe shade that I use and then run that under, because I don't know if I want it to be super dark. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do eyeliner or not. We'll see. I'm honestly not sure, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. Then I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup, and yeah, I think I already said that, so go ahead and do that. Okay, so I totally need to add a little bit of something to my eyebrows, but I'm not gonna do that just yet. I'll probably do that before I take pictures, but yeah, I don't know. Probably should have done it before I started filming, but I didn't. So anyways, this is the finished look. So we have the cutting edge palette on this side. This is the closest I'm gonna get because there are some flaws and my eyelashes want to pop off because I'm talking while I'm showing you guys this stuff. But my eyes have been really watery during this whole time. So yeah, and I kind of messed up on the eyeliner. Oh, by the way, I did all black eyeliner instead of keeping it with that gold. So I just took the whole black eyeliner. I actually like it a lot better now with that. Okay, and then for this eye, I added a little bit of glitter. Okay, so these are the looks. Let's go ahead and just talk about the palettes. First impression so far. I feel like these palettes, the formula, are pretty comparable to the Desi and Katy collab palette, which is the only thing I own from Dose of Colors. The only other thing now that I own these, but I really like those palettes. That palette. I honestly collectively like that palette more than I like these two palettes, but I'm just attached to that palette and it was just beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. But I feel like if you have that palette, these palettes are very similar in formula, if not the same. So the shimmers are really easy to work with. I mean, look at how beautiful they look. I did use a glitter primer, but I always do that, so it's just that. That's just me. But look at how beautiful these shimmers look. Super gorgeous, very pigmented. The mattes were pretty easy to work with. I had problems with the Smoky Soiree one, the darker shade that I used out here. I just felt like it just took a little bit more to blend out, and the mattes kind of felt like they were grabbing on to my primer, even though I did set it. So those mattes just felt like they needed a little more patience, but still something that I could still work with. It's just kind of something that I noticed. But overall, I really like the quality of the palettes. Overall, do you need it? Yes, they're gorgeous. They are $32 per palette, so I would probably recommend just getting one. Honestly, I don't know if you need both. As far as the color stories go, they aren't anything that is new. I think they're both absolutely gorgeous, but they, you could possibly already have them in your collection. And first thing that I was thinking of, and this palette is kind of, broken a little bit, but this palette and this palette, this is the e.l.f. palette and this is the Dose of Colors palette. Although they aren't exact dupes, and I didn't swatch them out, this little shimmer is just falling apart because those shimmers in these palettes are so soft. But that's just an example. They're not exact dupes, but this is a $3 palette, this is a $32 palette, so yes, it is gorgeous. I do think it's worth the money overall, but you might have something, or you might have access to something that's gonna give you similar looks, without actually having to spend that amount of money, which, you know, if you can do that and you want to find a cheaper alternative, do you need it? You know, that's just kind of my overall feeling, and I'm always going to be a little more biased to drugstore products just because, you know, if you can save a couple dollars or almost $30, then go ahead and do that. Oh, I had crazy eyes for a second. Just do it, you know. Again, this isn't an exact dupe, but it's just an example. Like, this is $32, this is $3. So because the color stories aren't anything super unique, even though I do feel like this shade in here isn't gonna be as easily duped because it feels like it does have just a different hue to it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, you know, that's just kind of my thing. I like the palettes. I definitely will use them. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, but for the price, the color stories aren't anything super unique that you've never seen before, and that's just, you know, if you want to spend the money, go ahead, go for it. You're not going to regret it. It is a gorgeous, both of them are gorgeous palettes, but there are cheaper alternatives. And there is a green palette of the e.l.f. palettes too. They aren't going to be the exact same as this one, but again, this color story is a little more unique than the other one, but as you guys are about to see, I did some swatches for you. These definitely aren't exact dupes, but I know people were going to want to see these palettes swatched out. So I have the Melt Gemini palette, and I also have the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Green palette. Basically what I did for each color in here, so all 5 of these shades, I basically swatched them and then found the comparable color in the Gemini palette, which is this guy right here, so this one, and then the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Green palette. We're not going to spend too much time going over this, but I just know that grungy green palettes are really in, and people love them, and me included. So I know this is going to be something that someone was going to want to see out there. That's why I took time to swatch this versus the other one, because the smoky palette is a smoky palette. Like, we already know those exist. So with the grungy palette, this is the first shade in the Dose of Colors palette. This is the Melt Gemini palette, and then this is the Sci-Fi Green palette. This is Dose of Colors. This is Gemini. This is Sci-Fi Green. So Dose of Colors, Gemini, Sci-Fi Green, Dose of Colors, Gemini, Sci-Fi Green. And then this, so the last shade, Dose of Colors, Gemini, Sci-Fi Green. For some reason that one, honestly, that shade kind of just fell off real fast, but yeah, so not exact dupes. Are they similar in color story? Absolutely. If you have one of them, do you need the other one? Probably not. This is a really pretty palette though. So if you don't have the other two and you want to try Dose of Colors, then I would recommend getting this. This is cheaper. I don't remember how much the Kaleidos palette was, to be completely honest. It is cheaper than buying the Gemini palette. There is a smaller green palette in one of the e.l.f. palettes, so no, not an exact dupe. You know what? Let me go find it for you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go find it. And then this is the e.l.f. one. So, I mean, not exact dupes by any means. This is lacking the more brown shade, and it doesn't get, I mean, it has a deeper shade, but you know, it doesn't get as deep as the other ones. You know what? Just for science purposes, this is the first shade in the e.l.f. palette. I'm just gonna pop that there for you guys. So these are Dose of Colors, Gemini, Kaleidos, e.l.f. I wasn't planning on doing this, so bear with me. So same order for these ones here. Then we'll just add e.l.f. So way brighter than those and not nearly as like olive toned or grungy. And then this is kind of where the other two shades fit in here. Ugh, that was a terrible swatch, I'm so sorry. So e.l.f. again, and then e.l.f. again here. So this is kind of the group of colors. Not exact dupes by any means, but you know, yeah. I don't know, just thought that would be interesting, kind of fun. Hopefully that didn't take up too much of the video, because that's why I did all of it like basically off camera, because I knew it was gonna take a while. Overall, I think they're nice palettes. Well, really, they are gorgeous. They, quality-wise, from what I can tell right now, I'm pretty happy with them. But again, do you need them? I mean, you might already have them, you know, like you might already have them. So, and that's something kind of I already knew going into it, but I don't know, I just felt like buying these palettes because I haven't purchased from Dose of Colors. I don't think I ever even did a video on them, because the Desi Katy collab probably came out before I even had a YouTube. So, you know, they just seem like something fun. They are really pretty palettes. So I'm just, you know, yes, I would recommend them, but just take a look in your collection, I guess. That's kind of my best advice. And that's kind of like with everything. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.